Hey, my name is James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about a crazy increase in stamp duty that Scotland has just imposed, and also the policies that the Scottish government has implemented over the last few years have caused a huge surge in rents. It's unlike anything that we're seeing south of the border. It's absolutely crazy. So we're going to talk rent controls as well and what actually happens when you put rent controls in. So if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We've got new property content every single day. And let's get some more views on this video by smashing like, tickling like, doing something to that like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm and has helped the channel grow tremendously this year. So thanks to everyone that does it. So what's going on? Well, the Scottish Parliament have just had their budget, and the people that have got clobbered, they're the easy targets, just like we've had in London, and they are landlords. The landlords have been clobbered here again, and they've really increased the stamp duty. Now, Scotland had a big excess in stamp duty already. And so this is for just for landlords. And so they've taken the excess stamp duty from 6%, and they've raised it all the way to 8% on top of normal stamp duty, which is so high. We've obviously had something similar in England, where we've had the stamp duty excess went from 3% all the way up to 5% on the day of the budget. Didn't even allow people time to complete transactions that were nearly there, which is really unfair in my opinion. But this is really hitting people very hard. Now, Scotland have kind of declared, officially said, they have a housing emergency. Now, I have a marketing agency as well, and I have a customer in Edinburgh, and that customer has been looking for months for a suitable rental property, and they've been to viewings where there's been 20, 30, 40 people looking at the same property. Lots of properties up there get hundreds of applications per property. And the Scottish government has been quite anti-landlord, as has the UK government, and that is pushing landlords out. Now, you might say, good, that's good. Maybe you're a tenant and you're watching this and you think, good, let's get rid of landlords. But if you get rid of landlords, you're going to get replaced by councils owning the properties, who are some of the worst landlords in the market. Every day there's a story in the news about a council not dealing with mould or not dealing with properties. I'm in Dorking in Surrey, and in the Facebook group, I think the local housing provider is called Clarion, and the MP is in that Facebook group weekly with stories, and he's at the properties of these Clarion tenants, showing mould, showing dilapidation that they're just not fixing. They're not bothered about fixing at all. And that shows what these social housing providers and councils, they're not good landlords. A small independent landlord has to get stuff done, or they get fined much quicker than the big guys do. They're not necessarily all bad. But what also has happened in Scotland is rent controls. Now, the reason I want to talk about that, maybe you're not in Scotland, why should you care? Well, London's talking about doing this. Sadiq Khan is saying he wants to put rent controls in London. He's not just said it once, he said it over and over and over, and it's a topic that has been discussed for a long time. Other places have tried this. Ireland's tried this. New York has tried this. Most places that have tried this, it hasn't worked. Well, let's look at Scotland. They're doing it. It's a more recent case, and it's very similar and close to, well, it's connected. It is part of the UK, but what actually is happening there isn't good for the tenants either. So this is what is happening. So 1-bedroom properties. Now, how the rental, the caps have been in place for 2 years. Let's talk about the prior 13 years. So in the prior 13 years, rents went up over 13 years by 30%. Not too bad if you take into account inflation. So, what's happened since the rent controls have gone in? Just in 2 years, one-bedroom flats have gone up on average in 2 years by 22%. Now, why's that happened? It's happened because landlords have quit. They've got EPC rules, they've got tax things, they've got incredibly high stamp duty. There's no incentive for, so some landlords are just going to leave anyway, right? They will just retire or pass away. So there are natural exits from the market normally in everywhere. But you'll also see that there's no incentive for new landlords to join the market. So it would shrink anyway. You're not incentivized to buy a property or invest if you're going to pay 8% additional stamp duty. Additional. That makes entry into the market. When you've already got to put a 25% deposit, it doesn't make it very attractive. It doesn't make it very attractive for developers either to build properties that potentially would have been sold to buy-to-let investors as well. So that stops investment happening there. And rent controls means some landlords will quit. So because they have, the rents went up quite quickly to deal with that. It also means, like in my client's example, you could have hundreds of people going for one property. So it's not going very well. So even rent controls are actually backfiring here. What's going on with the 2-bedroom properties, it's even more insane. So a 2-bed property is more desirable, and the increase in 2 years is 27.1%. 27.1%. That's why they're declaring this as a housing emergency. So they've got rent caps on. It's not working. Rents are rising at record rates. More landlords are quitting. People need to rent. People want to rent. You can say the argument is that if a landlord quits, someone buys their property to live in. True, correct. But the market that wants to rent is also growing at the same time. What needs to happen is you need to invest and build more. Labour yesterday reiterated their pledge that they are going to build 1.5 million properties in 5 years. They've come out, Keir Starmer's come out and said that again this week. However, it was only last week where they said that target is impossible. We are not going to even get close to that happening. And reasons for that are things along the lines of this. Some of those 1.5 million properties would be used as investment properties by investors like myself in order to have them as a buy-to-let portfolio. But if you keep putting the tax up, you keep putting all these rules and regulations up, there's less investment and that's less likely to happen. So it's interesting to see what happens in Scotland because we do copy what happens. They increased their stamp duty a while back to 6%. So we went to 5%. We felt that that was an option to do in the UK, right? And so by looking at this, we can see that London, they want to put rent controls. This is the outcome where they've tried it somewhere very recent in Scotland and it hasn't worked. Let me know your thoughts, questions and opinions in the comments below. And if you haven't bought it yet, there's only a few days left where you can get our Cyber Week deal. It's running to Sunday. I think more than 300 have bought at some stage. I'm sure it's even higher than that now. It's basically the fundamentals of property investing program. It's the full course. It's £25, not monthly, a one-off payment. And then it's yours for life. It's updated as well as new things happen. Everyone else is selling this type of training for thousands of pounds. I'm going to put the description, the link in the description. Go and click on it, check it out. You've only got till Sunday to grab that. It's £25 and it really could help you become a good investor like it has done for me. Do like this video, share it, subscribe and check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here.